Universe 6 Super Saiyans are the new hot point. They're the new selling point for the Dragon Ball Super Tournament of Power. Everyone online is losing it, talking about Kale and Caulifla becoming Super Saiyans. So that's who we're going to be discussing in today's Dragon Ball Super discussion video. So, in order to discuss Universe 6 Super Saiyans, you have to discuss Universe 7 Super Saiyans to have a proper understanding of what Super Saiyan is and how it relates to the Universe 6 variant. Now, Universe 7, we know from Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, we're going to look at their three separate situations in which they became Super Saiyans. So Goku, before he became a Super Saiyan, he went through training with literal gods as far as it concerns the Earth. When you look at Kami, Popo, and King Kai, they're, supernatural beings that you wouldn't normally find on Earth, and that's an extraordinary feat in and of itself to go through training with Kami, who's god of Earth. You go through training with Popo and King Kai, and you learn his Kaioken technique, and then he already had a good foundation from his training with Master Roshi, but that wasn't enough for him to become a Super Saiyan, and that's already better training than what you would find with Saiyans. Now, you take that, you go to Namek. He went through extraordinary fights with the Ginyu Force and Captain Ginyu. That still wasn't enough, and when he finally fought Frieza and he lost Krillin, that was the point where he became a Super Saiyan. Now let's look at Vegeta. Vegeta, he already had training with the Saiyans. Of course he had training under his father, King Vegeta. Then, the Saiyans were destroyed. He went through training and he went through life or death missions under Frieza. And, he got several Zenkai boosts throughout his life. He came to Earth, fought Goku, got a Zenkai boost there, went to Namek, went through a lot of fights there. Zenkai boost, still didn't have enough to become a Super Saiyan, and it wasn't until after the Namekian saga where he realized that he was really never going to catch up with Kakarot, and he had to deal with Kakarot being the first to attain that legendary form that he thought was owed to him. He snapped, he lost it, he became enraged, and he finally became a Super Saiyan. You look at Gohan, who started off being one of the strongest characters in the series, but not being able to tame his power. Like as a child, he was noted for having extraordinary abilities locked within him, but he didn't become a Super Saiyan just because of his raw power alone. He had to go through beatings. He got beat as a child by Raditz and Piccolo through his training. He had to go through all those battles on planet Namek. He went through the Android saga, and it wasn't until he went into the hyperbolic time chamber with Goku, and had to understand what it is to become a Super Saiyan, and had to have that emotional breakthrough of wanting to protect his family, wanting to protect the Earth from Cell, that he finally became a Super Saiyan, and later on became a Super Saiyan 2. And even if you wanted to look at it from the future Trunks point of view, sure, he had Gohan there to teach him how to become a Super Saiyan, but it wasn't until he lost the person most dear to him that he actually became a Super Saiyan. So what we've established there is that it's not a power level thing. Like, power level is important. That's half of the recipe. That's half of the ingredients. But you have to have the emotional breakthrough. You either have to go through great loss, great grief, and that's the point in which you become a Super Saiyan. It's not all training. You have to be pushed. You have to be at your breaking point, and then it happens. Now, you do have a couple of exceptions, like Trunks and Goten are an exception, but it was only because they were fathered by Super Saiyans. That's why they're the exception to the rule. Now, Gohan didn't get lucky because Goku wasn't a Super Saiyan at the time that he was conceived, but Goten lucked out and became a Super Saiyan, and so did current day Trunks. So then you look at the Universe 6 Super Saiyans, which they've become problematic. They're becoming Super Saiyans mere hours before the tournament, and that's supposed to increase their chances of winning, when you have to consider several things. Number one, a couple of hours. They're not going through an emotional breakthrough. I mean, it was somewhat of a problem when Kaba became a Super Saiyan, because he wasn't losing anything, he was in grief. Now, yeah, I do remember that Vegeta threatened to go to his universe and destroy his family. So I mean, even if you wanted to be very generous and say, okay, yeah, that's enough for them to become a Super Saiyan, I still don't buy it. But then you look at Caulifla and Kale, which are definitely offenses to the Super Saiyan form. They're just being taught and coached through it, but they're not having breakthroughs. And we do know that Universe 6 Super Saiyans, or Saiyans in general, are really weak compared to Universe 7 Super Saiyans. Like, I would argue that you can drop someone like Nappa or Raditz into the Universe 6 Saiyans and they would raise hell and destroy everything in sight because they're more battle hardened, they're more experienced. The Universe 6 Saiyans are peaceful, they have a defense force. They don't go and take over planets like the Universe 7 Saiyans. They're more like Namekians in the way that they're peaceful. They don't want to cause any trouble and they're just concentrated on protecting what they have. So Caulifla and Kale becoming Super Saiyan makes no sense. And even if you were to give them the form, you have to remember that just because you become a Super Saiyan doesn't mean you win. I mean, you have different stages of power when you become a Super Saiyan. And no, I'm not talking about Super Saiyan 2 or 3. I'm talking about, like, if you took a fresh Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku, he wouldn't have a chance against the androids. So how are fresh Super Saiyans going to have a chance in a tournament of power? Let alone if you were to introduce the androids against them, or you were to introduce someone like Cell or Boo, they would get completely devastated and destroyed because they haven't had beings like that in their universe to really push them to get stronger, not just as becoming Super Saiyan, but getting their base form stronger so that they stack up against higher tier villains. I mean, I would argue you could take Namek Saga Frieza. I mean, even if you wanted to be generous and say 100% Final Form Frieza, he would destroy Kaba, not just on experience alone, but on raw power, because Universe 6 Saiyans are extraordinarily weaker than Universe 7 Saiyans. And that's why I think that Universe 6 Saiyans, despite having Super Saiyans, shouldn't even impact the tournament at all. And they should just get flicked off and picked off easily by everyone else who's, you know, of a certain level. So that's what I wanted to discuss today, guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to become a true perfectionist, hit that notification bell. Let me know what you thought about this discussion video in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter as well, and I have a surprise for you guys later on this week that I'm sure that everyone's going to be excited about. So I will see you in the next video.